Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. Happy Thursday. The whole crew is here. We got Ryan, we got Dives, and we have Loretto, and we're going to be breaking down episode 3 of She-Hulk. Now, I'm really happy because we got to end off Hot Girl Summer with the Hot Girl coach being in this episode. And if you don't know who that is Megan the motherfucking Stallion. And she was in this, and I was really happy that she was in this. She killed it. So Wong was also in this episode. For me, this episode 3, I really wanted it to get better. I wanted it to be better than the first 2 episodes. It still feels disjointed for me. And the humor is just not landing. So it's making it really difficult to go back to it every single week. But I'm going to bring in the ray of sunshine for She-Hulk, which is Loretto. And I'm going to get his first impression of episode 3 right off the bat.
Oh man, I'll just say, let's start it off. Let me close with positivity, but I guess, I'm going to get buried after this. But, regardless, here's my thing. Look, I totally understand why people aren't connecting with it. I totally understand if the humor doesn't connect, and that's fine. But my thing is, the reason why I'm actually enjoying myself is and you know what? This actually might work against me, so it is what it is. I'm going to save my piece here. Look, we're on the levels of not only writing, but like structure-wise. Like it started almost to feel like a Disney Channel show. But look, hear me out. There's merits to that, right? So I'm accepting it. I'm accepting it for what it is. Like, I didn't go into this thinking we're gonna get Infinity War. I didn't go into this thinking we were gonna get something even on the level of WandaVision. I went into this thinking it was gonna be a goofy comedy show, and that is exactly what they have delivered. And whether or not I agree with the 30-minute fast-forwarded episode,
30-minute, Loretto.
I know,
30-minute.
I mean, yes, the runtime is definitely to its detriment. I will say that. But I mean, besides that though, Tatiana Maslany is acting her ass off, in my opinion. She is carrying this show. She's charming. I love her. I really, really like her personality. I want to hang out with her. Like, she seems like a really cool person. I think she's doing a great job. CGI withstanding. Look, sometimes she looks great. Sometimes I'm wondering what the hell is going on with the CG. It's a little all over the place, and that's been the nature of the show. That's probably the one thing I hate the most. But look, I'm having a blast. My boy Wong was killing it. Tim Roth was better this week. I thought he was sleepwalking last week, but he actually showed up this week, and I liked where that played out. My only issues here is I don't know if we needed a Megan the Stallion in the MCU kind of cameo. It feels really weird, but it was. I thought the post-credit scene was funny, and I think if you want to speak to this generation, you want to speak to younger crowds, that's fine. I don't know if the younger crowds need to see all the twerking and butt shaking, but look, I'm having a good time. That's the bottom line. Like, there's a goofy charm to this that appeals to me. I will die on the hill defending Tatiana Maslany like Jon Snow facing the Bastards army. I will defend her to the death of me, and I just want to thank her because she's awesome.
I agree with you. I think that Tatiana is carrying the show on her back. When it's good, she shines. Then when it's kind of rocky, she's trying to coast through it. The CGI is really bad for her. It's really bad for her, and we saw that in that post-credit scene. But yeah, it's goofy. And if the humor works for you, comedy is personal, as I've always said. And that's why it's going to be hella divisive. I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone in the comments. We have Caitlin, we have Max, we have Daniel, who just joined as well. Thanks, guys, for joining us. I'm going to throw it to Loretto because I'm going to throw it to Dives because his reactions to everything Loretto's been saying has been quite entertaining. So, Dives, what were your first impressions of this episode?
You're muted, my man.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I'm back. I'm here.
I missed you.
Unfortunately, I'm here. I wasn't able to do last week's episode because I was dealing with COVID, but here we are. I don't watch as much TV as you guys, but I don't think I've watched a TV show that tries so hard and just continuously falls flat on its face. This show is god awful. Pretty much every joke they throw at you completely whiffs. I'm 99% of the time emotionless watching this show. You know, there are definitely weaknesses of Miss Marvel, but at least that show had freaking heart. It had an amazing family that I cared about. There's nothing I care about in this show. Absolutely nothing. My eyes rolled nearly every single punchline. I don't think the MCU could have gotten any lower than something even made by the DCU. But here we are. Twerking during the post-credit scene has hit an all-time low for the MCU, which on the other end shows exactly what this show is intended for, which is 16-year-old girls. And they literally made that twerking show designed to break the internet. And I don't think the MCU has ever stooped this low. The explanation for why Wong freed Abomination was so ridiculous, so inconsequential. We now have two characters that continue to slap Bruce Banner in the face. One learned to control her powers or control the Hulk within 48 hours. Another one did so in a freaking prison cell. I thought the CGI was laughable. The writing is horrible. The acting is terrible. Tatiana, I disagree. She has zero relatability about her. The entire show is filled and littered with cookie cutter sexist males from 90s TV and movies. If there was ever a time for the DCU to say, hey, the MCU is at their weak point, now is the time to capitalize. This is it. She-Hulk sucks. Move on. It's time for Lord of the Rings.
Hey, they roasting you in the comments, fam.
They're roasting you. Damn, that was a whole mic drop moment from Dives. I'm losing it. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I don't think it's marketed strictly to 16-year-old girls.
Oh, it is.
Dives, I don't know. I don't think it is. I think they're trying to do too many things at once, and they're trying to incorporate too many things at once. And I think that that's what's getting lost in translation to what the demographic actually is. And it's just completely out of control. But to actually add to another mic drop moment, I know that Ryan has a lot to say. So go ahead, Ryan.
I mean, I don't know if I'll reach the territory of Deebs because
it's the worst MCU show yet.
Homie went to infinity and fucking beyond on that one. Like, honestly, I wasn't even expecting that. Took me by surprise. But I just don't know what this show is trying to be. As you guys were talking in the beginning, I was really trying to think about it. This show does nothing at all. And listen to my argument here, Loretto. If you go back to any one of the shows before this, they all at least had some characteristic style to this. There's nothing here. It's so boring. It's bland. Some of the editing choices are so weird, especially in this week's episode. Like, I just don't get what they're trying to achieve with this project. Some of the characters Wong just doesn't feel like Wong. He feels like he's trying so hard to be funny when he is first introduced to Jen Walters and they have the first sit down. Like, yeah, dude, when he was talking about the No Way Home joke again, I'm like, how many more times is a fucking Doctor Strange character going to joke about No Way Home? Like, can we just actually bring up the consequences? And yeah, dude, I thought Benedict Wong was trying massively hard, way too hard to be funny in that scene. And you could just see it on his face. And I just didn't believe for a second that this was the Wong that we used to know. He's not like so lighthearted where he seems to just not effortlessly be funny. He's so stoic. He's brick-faced. There's nothing much about him, and they're just treating him like the meme that he turned into. And I feel like that's exactly what the show is as a whole. It's a giant meme, and it kind of fits nowhere. And if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not going to hold you against it, but it's just seeing what the MCU created and what their promise was going into these shows was movie level quality television. And this is far from movie quality, let alone television quality, especially in today's age. Like, look at everything coming out. I just think it's embarrassing on multiple fronts. So I'll leave it at that until we start getting deeper into that.
Dibs, go ahead. I'm going to add on afterwards, but yeah, go ahead.
I want to throw it in here that a show that makes fun of itself, saying we don't have like cameos of the week, and a main character that has zero relatability, adds Wong into episode 3, who's probably arguably the most relatable character in the MCU, right up there with like Korg and stuff. Like, who doesn't love Wong? He's amazing. This was by far his worst appearance in the MCU yet. By far. That's impressive. That's an impressive feat for this project.
I want to. Sorry, I just want to add something that I think a lot of people aren't talking about. That I think is super, just not very good about this show, and that's when Jen breaks the fourth wall. This is the one way you are proving how you don't do it. I hope Deadpool doesn't turn out this way, because she just breaks the fourth wall at random moments and random times and just says these one-liners that have no effect on my soul. It's not funny. It's nothing. She looks deadpan at the camera. She tries to smirk. I like Tatiana, but I don't know. This fourth wall thing just isn't selling me so far.
I think the issue with that is that it's not consistent. Whereas like we saw it with Wade, like every like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, like it was very consistent in Deadpool. And then like in any of the episodes, it's like one fourth wall break at the beginning, maybe at the end. Like she should be doing it constantly, but then maybe that's like the time frame within the episode. They don't want to overwhelm you. I don't know. But to go back to what we were talking about with Wong, it's the fact that even with Abomination, they're changing these characters to fit the mold of the show. And like that's what's harming it, because it's not meshing well, because it would work better if they remain their characters and not like be out of character just to suit the context of the show. And I think that that's what's happening when they're floating around into different movies and shows, which sucks. But like Wong is watching The Sopranos, so I'm obviously like so happy about that. But yeah, Dives.
I want to address this comment from All in the Game. Thanks for joining. What does it take for you to stop watching a show you're clearly not enjoying? That's me to a T, man. I am freaking there. I am 100% freaking there. And I said it from episode 1 during our review. Like, this show's not for me. Like, I'm just ready to be swept into Middle Earth. I'm already swept into Westeros. I'm not enjoying this. And I don't really care to do these reviews, to be quite honest, because it's garbage. Marvel, you have to do better than this. You need to do better. And I don't know, like, even though like I gave Hawkeye low scores, like Yelena, amazing. Kate Bishop, amazing. Like, I'm excited for Kingpin. This show is giving me nothing to get excited about, and it's only 3 episodes in, but like I'm still waiting. Like it's just garbage.
So now, do you think that the version of Matt Murdock that we're going to get in She-Hulk is going to be different than the one that we saw in No Way Home?
That's the day we all dread now. That is the day I dread.
Because I'm worried. I don't know. What do you think, Loretto? What are you thinking? Is Matt going to be the same Matt as we always know? Or is Matt going to be changed for She-Hulk to fit the mold of the sitcom?
Well, first of all, mad respect to Charlie Cox. I think he's going to do the best he can with what he's got. And look, I think I'll agree with you guys to an effect that when you have all these characters go through all these different films and shows, what have you, it's hard to get the character just right when you're writing them differently. But I will say that I don't think this was a fault to Benedict Wong's role in this. I actually didn't mind him. I completely disagree. I felt like what he said was on par with anything he's ever said. And he doesn't say much. He was, I don't know. I just felt like it was very, and I liked his alibi. I liked that he fessed up and it was a really sound alibi. I don't know. I didn't mind his appearance at all. But I'm not gonna lie. I really don't know what we're gonna get with Matt Murdock. And from what I understand, the showrunner,
he doesn't riot.
Nice.
They need to be changed, bro. They need to be changed or never be involved with her again.
No, they all need to do it.
Look, if Daredevil twerks, man, they might lose me. But look,
they might lose me.
This is supposed to be a lighthearted take on his character, which I don't even know how to feel about that, because through and through, Daredevil's a very somber.
Dude,
character.
I hope it's this show. I hope it's not this show's interpretation of Light Arty, because that's some millennial shit, bro. I'm good. Wait, can I? Oh, go ahead, Deebs.
Yeah.
No, like just another like terrible moment. Like, how bad was that scene with the elf when she like transformed and pretended to be the judge? Like,
so
the shapeshifter.
That's like CW style. Like, that's like
no,
that was just such
worse.
a garbage scene. It was awful. Awful. It's not funny.
I want to talk about that scene actually as a whole, because it's this episode perfectly shows you how the writers and showrunner wrote themselves into a fucking hole in general. They don't know how to write anything when it comes to legal stuff, and they don't know how to shoot CGI, which they have already admitted on that one. So those are two fronts that are very prominent in this, because she's janky most of the time. And during this scene, the whole argument for Pug's case is she needs to get back the 175 grand, right? And the whole thing about this is he's fighting that he didn't know that she wasn't Megan Thee Stallion. And the judge and the lawyer are both saying, how did you not know she wasn't Megan Thee Stallion, when they showed a clip of her confessing and actually changing on camera during this episode? And she's already proved to change into Megan Thee Stallion, and they've admitted to showing text conversations, which I'm sure she impersonated Megan Thee Stallion on it. And they're saying, how could you not tell that's not Megan Thee Stallion? Bro, I don't know. Bro, like, if any random person just met Megan Thee Stallion and didn't meet them, $5 is they wouldn't just randomly think, especially a male that's overtly sexist like this guy who's just trying to obviously fuck her. Like, he does not care. So I think it's pretty obvious in the courtroom that he obviously did not know it was her. And it seems like a pretty cut and dry case right there. But as soon as the fairy goes up and pulls that stunt, like you were talking, Deebs, Pug's like, oh yeah, that's going to give us everything we need to win the case. I'm like, what? You guys, what? What is going on here?
You know, considering you guys aren't enjoying the show, you guys are getting very hung up on very specific details.
But it comes down, at the end of the day, it comes down to like
it's a
the
crime
writing.
Show. It's a crime show that's promised on movie level quality from a company that we know can guarantee it. On top of, dude, this is pretty low bar. Like, Disney Channel isn't even running shit this bad when it comes to storyline and actual writing. Like, dude, a fucking 5th grader can come up with this stuff. Loretta.
It's all about the writing. This is all writing. It's the writing. It's the joke. This is supposed to be a sitcom comedy. Like, it's like it's the writing. It's just not working.
I think like having the head writer come out and say that they have no background knowledge. And
they didn't know how to write. Like, they pretty much said they didn't know how to write this. They
said it like, that's just what's breaking my heart about it. It's like, this could have gone an entirely different way if you had someone who knew how to write, you know, legal dramas or like just anything in context with trials or the law or anything like that. It could have gone completely different. But the one thing that I do have to say is that for me, I think this is the most connected Disney Plus show that we've had, because we have people from New Asgard, we have Wong coming in. I feel like it's the most connected out of all of them. We've had cameos, sure, but this is like early on, like the first half of, you know, this season, and we're already getting like so many people in this. I don't know how you guys feel about it, if there's some like other shows that have been more connected than this one, but do you think that there could be other cameos that they're just not talking about to connect it even further? Lo, I'll go to you first if you think.
Well, it's very clear that the Wrecking Crew is working for someone. I think at some point that's probably going to be the big bad of this season. But to Ryan's point, right now this show is a vibe. It's 3 episodes in. There's no story. There's no plot. There's 0 antagonists. It's just Tatiana living her life. And look, that's not a bad thing, but it's really interesting to be 3 episodes into a show with no direction. And that vibe, like I was saying earlier, you either love it or you hate it. Clearly, I mean, you guys are enjoying it. I'm having fun with whatever it's supposed to be, but I'll admit, it definitely feels directionless. It definitely feels like it's speaking to this generation in the worst possible way. Because you know what I mean? Like, first of all, the show being a vibe in and of itself is very Gen Z, very 2022. Yeah. It's like, this show is just a vibe, just go with it. And you either
Gen
go
Z,
with it or you don't, and that in itself is a bad thing. So I hope Matt Murdock can bring something to this, and I don't even know where this is going, but I'm along for the ride until we until the vibe ends, or whatever you want to call it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What do you guys think is worse when it comes to the legal aspect of this episode? The fact that the fairy had to shapeshift into the judge in front of everybody and not get caught and still run up to the top of the courtroom to win the case for Pug when the case was cut and dry, or that Emil used 8 pen pal wives sitting behind a window as an argument of why he should be freed and is a better man and a more down-to-earth man. I got Loretto mad enough. Goddamn. I'm sorry, Loretto.
Hello, come back.
Damn.
I think it just shut off for him. I don't know.
What's the question?
Yeah, there he's back.
So what do you think is worse from just the legal writing aspect? The fairy scene of her shape-shifting without anyone noticing when everyone was looking at her. Damn it, I'm trying to talk here. Or Emil using the 8 wives as like an argument of why he has changed as a person.
It's the first one. Like, you just get that sense. Like, I don't even like the genre of like Law and Order, Ally McBeal. Like, that's not even my vibe.
We're not helping you now. They're not helping you now.
But like, you can get the sense. Like, and I don't watch that stuff, but like, they have no idea what they're talking about in these scenes. Like when Tatiana or Jennifer is like standing there, like confronting the jury and stuff. It's all just lazy. It doesn't feel right. It's just, I don't know.
There's
like
no,
I said,
there's
the
no
writing is so childish.
There's no emotional connection. I'm not even cheering for her when she's out there. Like, that's an issue. I don't know if you guys had any. Yeah, go ahead, Deb.
I think the Disney Channel comment's pretty fair. Like, that's really what it feels like. The script just feels like completely outlandish. It feels, everything legal wise, it just feels outlandish. It just doesn't make sense.
It's like a joke.
It doesn't fit at all. It just does not fit. But we do have some hopefully favorite moments. Ryan, any favorite moments from this episode?
I got one favorite moment.
Okay.
One favorite moment.
What is it?
And that's when Emil turned into the Abomination and broke the machine that was somehow supposed to contain him. One. And then goes over to try and fit on his shoes as Emil while he's the Abomination and sit down. While everyone freaks out, he's about to go like run away. Like, guys, what are we doing here? Like, your machine don't work. It don't matter if he's behind that. Clearly, he'd kill you if he wants. And he's just chilling there. Like, well, that's my favorite part.
Fair. I actually liked him turning into the Abomination. I thought he looked pretty good, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the only good CGI this episode.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. I liked the change from obviously Incredible Hulk. He looked different. Dibes, any favorite moments from you at all?
The best moment was when the post-credits scene ended and the show stopped. That's when I could continue my day because I'd rather watch paint dry than this garbage. It's absolutely terrible. I was joking with my friends. Like, I honestly tried to think of a top moment from episode 3, and I always can find something. I can't think of anything. I tweeted earlier, like, I'm just emotionless during this show. It's so bland. It's just an incredibly bland show. A lot of times when we're doing CU reviews, like, my favorite moments is, what do you think? The dialogue. I love the the dialogue, the moments, the small moments between characters. Like, I just do not relate to any of these characters whatsoever. The Megan, what was it? Megan something? Like, that's just a great example of, like, I don't know who that is. I've never heard of her. And the twerk just took everything, and that was like the final nail in the coffin for me. And then I messaged in our group chat, like, I'm done. Like, I'm officially done. And just like Loretto with this show.
Okay. No, I'm like, we have a positive favorite moment coming. You just
I have no favorite moments in this episode. By far the worst episode, arguably the worst episode in MCU Disney Plus history.
Yeah, I didn't have a favorite moment either, and I also just realized that I made a comment about Wong that is not in this episode. So please don't listen to me. I'm sorry, but yes, Loretto, are you with us? Loretto, testing.
He definitely is not.
Low.
He definitely.
Oh my god! Can you guys hear me?
Like,
oh my god!
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
like having problems. Okay, while I'm here, we're doing favorite moments, right?
Yes, favorite moments, please.
Yeah.
Please,
So
please.
Okay, so while I'm alive, I'm streaming for a second. I think it's cool that she finally did some court things. So I liked to see the trial in next Emil's cell, and I actually thought it was really funny when the guy was like, "Well, so Wong, you admitted to letting him escape, right?" And then he just and portals out of there. I thought that was pretty good. Look, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm having fun with it. It is what it is, though.
That's fair. I'm just happy you like the courtroom stuff, because that's where I struggle with the show. Do you guys have any predictions of what's gonna happen next week? Because I know, and it's gonna be fun to see your reaction. So, any predictions at all for next week, guys? You want to throw it out there?
She-Hulk dies.
Oh, whoa,
I hope. Okay, so look, I hope not. But apparently, I think the Wrecking Crew is supposed to be working for Fisk. Have you guys heard that?
Yes.
No, I have not.
Yeah, I heard the Wrecking Crew that we saw. Yeah, so and then that might bring in Matt Murdock for that reason, maybe. But I don't know. I'm kind of hoping not. I feel like we should save him for Daredevil Born Again. I really hope it's someone else, but we'll see.
That it's either Kingpin or Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Like, it's either one of those two, I think, because I think a big piece of this is setting up the Planet Hulk movie, and it's setting up the Thunderbolts. So we're definitely going to be getting into Thunderbolts. But nothing about this makes me excited. Like, WandaVision made me excited for the Marvels. Many other projects made me excited for other MCU Disney Plus projects. There's nothing about this is. I like I said in our episode 1 review, and even episode 2, I wasn't on it. But the best parts of those first 2 episodes was setting up Bruce Banner for what's to come.
Yeah.
There's none of that. So, and you take that away in episode 3, I got nothing, Manda. I got nothing.
Oh no! Oh my God! Rye, what about you? Any predictions?
I predict that things will happen to Jen Walters, and things will happen to her, not because she's a woman, but because she's She-Hulk, or because she's a good lawyer. Just remember that, guys, because this show is on the nose, and each week,
well done.
we just have to start putting our bets in for how much of a douchebag will a guy be in this week's episode. They've just progressively just gotten worse and worse. Like, literally straight out of the gate, they introduced this week's dude like, oh wow, you're a 10, but I wouldn't talk to you at work because I'm an 11. Like, yo, what? Okay. Just like, okay, 80s man, just put your fucking short shirts on and your dick is showing out. Like, relax. I just wonder what the next week's episode guy is gonna open up with next.
Listen.
Okay, let me speak to All in the Game. He's like, he wants to confirm Dives is no longer reviewing this show. I think we lost him. All in the Game. I think we lost him.
Oh,
he will not be returning.
This sucks. Just one more episode, guys. One more episode.
Amanda clearly knows how bad next week gets, and she just wants me to get angry. That's really what this is. She knows how
Guys.
bad episode
do.
4 gets, and she
Let's
just wants me to go off. And I don't watch TV like that. Like I don't have time to invest. I have a 3-year-old daughter. Like I have no time.
No.
And like no, to like waking up early
I need you to see.
and watching this before my 7 a.m. job is not worth it.
But
I-
Deebs, wait, you're telling me you don't want to see the TikTok influencer supervillain of season 1 get thrown in jail at the end again because she hasn't been introduced yet again because for some reason she just like randomly kicked through a courtroom for some reason. Who really
Yeah.
knows why? Because this show just kind of has things going on and just happening just to move whatever the plot is forward. Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost on this show.
I honestly think that because they made it 9 episodes, they're really stretching Titania. And I think that building her social media presence, this is an actual thing. She has a verified Twitter account and they're trying to market it first on Twitter to get people to watch the show when she
Sure.
appears.
I didn't know that.
So yeah,
Wait,
I've
wait.
been following it. Yeah. What's up?
That's like exactly what I said to start the show. Was like they literally did the twerking thing for that purpose. Like we have gone from the MCU, like we talked about this before, Amanda, during our previous review. Like we talked about how it's quality, not quantity, and the MCU has been dangerously teetering with this. And like you talk about like they're not, their head's not in the right place with this show.
Yeah,
No,
this show just never really feels like it ever has any conflict at any point. No characters ever feel at odds with each other. And when they do, it's just, you don't really feel like they are. And just because this feels like a very stereotypical 22-minute sitcom show that I guess they really want to go for, this show is just trying to introduce so much in one episode that they rush past it so fast that we're getting these fucking 6 hour long movies, these 6 long episodes in a matter of 22 minutes an episode now instead of 45 minutes. So it's kind of scary that they're just kind of missing the entire point. This show just feels like an entire missing of the point of everything in every realm, in every aspect, in every film, in any TV show, anything. Like I don't know how else to criticize this show because like you said, Lo, it's just directionless, it's emotionless, it's meaningless, and it feels so inconsequential, but yet it probably has so much consequence by the time it ends at the same time. Like this is the first show truly, or the first project truly introducing Daredevil. Like you'd figure that's such a bigger aspiration to hold for a show because he's coming with his own show onto Disney Plus now. I don't know, it just feels like it has all the elements to be monumental, but because the writing, the show running is truly abysmal, on top of, I don't want to blame the VFX artists because I know they're getting overworked, but between the VFX, like it's just groundbreaking with how they could take all the elements that can make this work and make it amazingly awesome and just crash and burn at the end of the day. And some really bad choices.
Oh yeah, I just think that they put themselves in the sitcom box, and then they don't know how to write for a sitcom, and then that's why nothing. Fitting into Phase 4.
Like Marvel's better than this. Marvel is like there's no way Kevin Feige's part of this. There's no way. I
get that they
believe that.
I know because it's so odd, and I get that they. Yeah, go ahead.
So no, I think I did hear a rumor or just something somewhere that he didn't like, I'm not saying he pushed the show aside, but he focused less on this show to put more focus into the Fantastic Four and gave him a lot of trust in the show from what I believe and heard. And show.
Before we get to our final grade, the rest of us didn't answer All in the Game's question as to what it takes for us to stop watching a show they're clearly not enjoying. For me, it usually goes to like the 3rd episode. If it's supposed to be a comedy and I'm not laughing, I'll stop, because that's kind of, I had to push myself to like get into The Office after the 3rd episode, to be honest, because I just didn't care for it. But I pushed myself. I'm doing the same thing with She-Hulk. I'm going to push myself. But for me, if it's not funny, the writing's not strong, and if the character dynamics and the interactions aren't like natural for me, then I just won't vibe with it. And that's what will make me stop watching. I just have to find something natural to it and that I can relate to it. So that's me. What about you, Rye?
I give a show like typically 2 episodes, but I'll just say the MC bias here. I really don't enjoy this show, but I'll be honest, I'm not as mad as Deebs, and I do have time to kill, and I like to put something on in the background. So it's 22 minutes. If I'm doing some work, I don't mind watching it. It's not going to be a bother, because I want to at least stay up to date. And like I said, again, 22 minutes is not that big of a blunder in my life right now. So
yeah,
I don't have a 3-year-old daughter.
I would easily rewatch House of the Dragon and Rings of Power before work than this just piece of trash.
Oh my god, Loretto, I'm gonna go to you. Answer this question, and then
honestly,
grade of She-Hulk. Okay.
I'm kind of with Rye, like about 2 episodes, but the thing is, like, there has to be a clear hook or something redeemable for me to latch onto, because if there's not, I check out really fast and then I move on with my life. So luckily from the beginning, like I said, I've been hooked with Tatiana Maslany. She's the only saving grace. Like, if I didn't like her, I would be where Dibs is at, and I'd probably just not care. Go ahead, dude.
If you want to watch a real female hero, watch House of the Dragon and Rhaenyra, who absolutely is killing it right now. I'll just throw that in.
That shit.
Continue, Loretto.
I was gonna say, I think Princess Rhaenyra is awesome. But anyways, so you want me to grade this episode, Amanda?
Yes, please. With your final thoughts as well, though.
Like I said, this isn't the greatest MCU show of all time. There's issues, yes. There's problems, yes. But I had a couple good chuckles today. I had fun with it for what it was, even though it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. It feels like we're kind of treading water here. I'll give it a very, very solid, low hanging fruit 6.
Woo! 6 out of 10. That's not so bad. Good for you, Loretto. Good for you.
Not
Dibes,
so
what about you? How's it going? How's your final grade looking?
I'm surprised, Loretto. I liked it. I thought it was good. For me, it was very bland. It was very bland. The Bukowski guy was cringe. The twerking scene was cringe. The elf wasn't funny. I agree with Caitlin. I was hoping she was a Skrull rather than from New Asgard. I have no clue who Megan Thee Stallion is, and quite frankly, based on everything I saw here, like, I don't want to, and I don't care to. I thought Wong was childish. I thought the reasoning behind Blonsky getting out of prison was also childish. The writing is terrible. This is a 4 at best.
Ooh, damn. Dibes is a 4. Right. Are you going to beat Yes, Loretto. Hello.
Actually, you know what? Forgive me. I'm going to bump it down a couple decimals, because the Wrecking Crew looked like trash. Like,
Party City.
Like, we were joking about Titania looking CW, and the Wrecking Crew, look, I know they're C-level villains and they're not that important in the grander scheme of things, but good God, they look terrible. So 5.8 is my new score.
So I have a follow-up question when Ryan and Amanda do theirs, but like, who did it worse, the Wrecking Crew or the Tracksuit Mafia? Because I hated both.
Listen, at least the Tracksuit Mafia was fun. We didn't see enough of the Wrecking Bro.
Trust me, bro. That was at least yeah,
they were
that
funny.
was fun.
I wanted to be with them. Like, I developed an accent. It was good. Like, I like the Tracksuit Mafia. You have to compare the Wrecking Crew to the Flag Smashers, Dibes.
That's fair. I like that. That's a good one.
Okay. There you go.
I was gonna say, I think the Flag Smashers were better. Ugh, I hate to say it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna sidetrack. Ryan, final grade. What is it? Is it worse than Dibes? It's worse than Dibes.
I don't know. This show is just like, it's bad. Like, I'm just kind of, I don't know what to say anymore because I don't know what this show really offers anymore in the grand scope of things. Like it's gonna have effect because of the just characters, but the people behind the scenes don't treat it that way. And so when you lose all sense of style and personality in a show, you kind of just get She-Hulk. I mean, it's really nothing to it. It's bland, it's unmemorable, it's unfunny, cringy at best. Like it takes effort to be this cringy. Like I honestly believe it does. And the fact that people wrote off on these scripts, the fact that these people wrote off on some of these writers, like I don't know. And the fact that they admitted to some of these things before the show even came out just really, really disappoints me. This is probably one of the most disappointing projects in Marvel history. This show's on track for that. I'll just give the show a straight up 1. No really redeeming aspects whatsoever. Bottom of the barrel. Nothing really saves this. I have 1 giggle with Emil. That was it. The rest of the time I laughed was at the show, not with the show. So do with that as you please. Showrunners, writers, whichever. Yes, Loretto.
Yes. Loretto.
Sorry, I just want to speak to John Daniel, a good friend of mine. Shout out to Cinema Spot. Hey, so he's asking if this is Inhumans level bad and whether or not he needs to see it. Look, John Daniel, I am on the side. Look, at least watch the first episode and you'll know right away if it's for you or not. And I think you should at least give it a chance, especially for the sake of Mark Ruffalo and Tatiana Maslany, because I thought the first episode by far has been the most enjoyable one out of the 3. Just find out for yourself, John Daniel.
I agree. You have to watch it for yourself. Because again, comedy's personal. So if you end up laughing, like Loretto's laughing and like our friend Gabe is laughing, like it makes sense that you're going to connect with them. Yeah, go ahead, Dad.
Nicole loves it. Nicole is having a great time.
Yeah. So if they're laughing then and they're enjoying it, you have to watch it for yourself. You do. I'm sitting at probably at a 4 out of 10. I just know what's coming in the next episode. And I know, listen, a lot of people are going to be pissed off. And I know that it can't get worse, but guys, that's all I'm saying. It low-key does, for me anyway. Like just character wise and what happens.
That goes to the comment of all in the game is saying like, what's your parameters for stop watching? Like, I don't watch content that to get me like upset. Like that's not my vibe. I don't like. I'm not Gabe. Like I don't watch things just to make fun of it. I watch things because I want to enjoy it, and that's where I'm at. Is like, I'm 100. Manda, you are 100% proving to me like I'm not watching this next week. Like,
I called it. I literally messaged you and I said you're not going to like this show, and rightfully so. Like this is what's happening. I don't know. I'm just. I love Tatiana. I love her so much. She deserves better than this. She's really trying so hard to work through the script that's just not working for her at all. And I just wish this was better. And I think that the 9 episodes with like 22 minutes to 30 minutes is really hurting like what She-Hulk could have been. And everyone has been yelling on Twitter about the fact that like, you're not reading the comics. And it's like, but there's a way to translate her into pop culture in a way that is not so in your face and not so like a part of the Twitterverse, because it feels like a lot of people and there's actual
it feels like
writers. Someone wrote on Mashable. There's like 4 different articles that were about the MCU and there were jokes literally, and there were whole articles about it, and they pulled those articles and put them into the show. They wrote them straight from Twitter. So that's what's happening here. It sucks that they're scrolling through Twitter. They're like, what's funny? What can we use to make these people happy? And like, that's the dialogue that we're getting, unfortunately. So the one thing that I can say heading into episode 4 is that we get more of Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk and her identity. and how she's playing around with like 2 different personas, which I absolutely adore. They don't do it properly, but I'm really happy that we got to see more of that heading into episode 4. So we did give our grades. Yes.
She absolutely just does not struggle as being as a Hulk. They completely skip over that fact as a whole, and they kind of just go straight for the head of the nose and go to the just complete sexist men. Like that's really the point they try to get to. I feel like with the each episode is like, oh yeah, I got my powers, but then sexist man thing happens. Whether it's Bruce, whether it's Bruce again. Honestly, he does it multiple times for some reason. Like, I don't know.
I feel like if it was written better, like I like those moments. I like that they're addressing women's issues. It's just it needs to be stronger and it needs to be written better for us not to watch it and like cringe type of thing. Because if I'm a woman and I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, I get what she's saying, and I'm still cringing at certain things, like that's not something that we need to see. Because I said it to you like earlier today, Rye, like feminism is about equality, and like that's not what they're kind of doing in the show, which is kind of it's harming it in that way. Below, yeah, you had your finger up. What's up?
I was gonna say this is like my final thought, and maybe the last negative thing I even want to say about this, because like Dibes, I'm kind of just tired. I'm over it. But I think my biggest thing with what they've done wrong here is that, you know, you look at like characters like Rey from Star Wars, or various female characters in the past like 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years of this kind of like fandom, where you get that horrible Mary Sue term. And look, I don't mind that Jen Walters is good at things, but they literally played into that narrative, which is feeding like the worst corners of the internet. And I think like doing that off bat just set this show up for failure in a lot of ways. And to your point, Amanda, they're trying to speak to an internet / Twitter / whatever audience, and it's kind of backfiring in a way, in a negative way, not a positive way. So
they have to like remember that Twitter is not the general audience. We live inside of a bubble on Twitter. Like stuff that we write on Twitter, that we read on Twitter, is completely different than what like everyone outside of the social platform even looks at. So they're marketing it to the wrong people, because the general audience is not going to understand why half of these things are even happening, which sucks. So
nailed it.
Thank you. We all gave our grades. I just want to thank everyone in the comments for joining us tonight. It was bumping. You guys are all amazing. John and Caitlin and Daniel was here. Tyler was here. All in the game. Thank you so much for all of your questions. They were great. Coming up tonight, Amazon Prime, 9 p.m. Eastern. Dibes is losing his freaking mind going back to Middle Earth. We're all very excited. Keep it locked on the Suit Up Geeks. We will be live tweeting both episodes tonight. Tomorrow, we will have our review of episodes 1 and 2 at 6 p.m. Eastern, so keep it locked for that. And then on Sunday, we will be back in Westeros for House of the Dragon, 10 p.m. Eastern, so join us then as well. So guys, thank you so much for joining us again. Keep it locked on the Suit Up Geeks. And from Ryan, from Dibes, from Loretto, from me, we'll catch you guys next time.